welcome to Convo Fango. Today, I'm not just saying this. If you follow my Twitter, you know that I'm being very genuine when I say this. I'm a super fangirl, so I'm super excited for our convo today. We are joined by the cast of Fear Street. Hello, guys. We've got Fred Hechinger, Julia Rehwald, and Olivia Scott Welch. Thank you so much for coming to hang out today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're all so excited.
And all of us are just just very excited, kind of like hanging out energy before this. So I'm stoked for this.
Yeah.
So you guys are basically, the event of the summer. So congratulations to you all on that.
Thanks. Thank you.
This is really, it's been a big deal. Like, I think my Twitter for the last 3 weeks has just been like just nonstop Fear Street, and I don't mind it because I've also been contributing to that. So
Thanks. Thank you.
so the way that this trilogy ties together, it's essentially like one long movie, right? But I'm curious because how was this story initially presented to you? Like, did you guys get a script for part one and read that? And like, did you read part two? Like, how did that work?
I think I got all three at once.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
I
always
think I got all three at once.
same, I
I
believe.
got the first two together, and then I got the third one a little later, I think.
Nice.
But I remember reading the first two in like one sitting. I was like, let's crank this out.
Yeah.
When we did the table read, we did 1 and 3, right?
Yeah, we did do a table read for 1 and 3.
Okay.
And then they did did some rewrites on the second one on 78, and then I think they did a table read for that one later on.
Okay, nice. Oh, I meant to say this at the top. This is going to be spoilers in this. So if you're watching this and you have not finished the trilogy, stop right there unless you don't care about spoilers. But don't at me after this. I'm warning you that there are spoilers.
That's
This is
so
spoiler.
relieving. I get so worried. I just am,
I know,
when someone
I
says
wanna talk
don't
about it
spoil
too.
something, I just know that it's gonna spill out. So this-
Yeah. You just run a list of all the kills and just like spilling out of you, and you're like, I can't stop. I don't know what's happening.
yeah, don't think about an elephant, and then boom, you just
yeah. Elephant.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, Nick is
Yeah.
he's not the best.
Good is.
So you guys already answered one of the questions for me because I was wondering, you're not in part two, but it factors in so much to the story overall. So I was wondering if you read part two, and does that inform your performance moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think too, just because it just informs the whole story so much. Like there's so much that you have to watch part two to watch part three. You like have to watch part one and two to watch part three. So it's the same with like reading them and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's things in part two, like, when she gets her hand cut off, like in the specific spot, like you have to have read part two and know that they find the hand. You know what I mean? Like it's so smart how backwards they're written. Like, do you know what I mean? Like unraveling it. So I loved reading part two just for all the clues and mysteries and stuff.
So I love that you were essentially reading it as a fan then, basically,
Yeah.
right? Like, which is cool.
That's the biggest. I'm like, I love the 78 movie. I am tied to a radiator the whole time. I'm like, that movie, you should watch that movie.
So what are some of the biggest surprises for you then? Like as you guys are like going through the script and reading, was there anything where you're like, no way?
I mean, I'm still amazed at even knowing how tightly plotted it is. The actual we were all together a couple days ago and we all watched the third one again on a big screen, and it was so amazing. And it's like it still hits me to, like, I know, even though I know the plot points, emotionally, I guess the kind of grand epic scope of it like hits me every time I watch it. It's just that there's nothing. I feel what's so wild about the script is there's no scene or beat that doesn't have multiple meanings for different parts. So it's sort of like when you see it again, it kind of, you realize that it's like every scene is serving like 4 purposes at once in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also think
Which is so impressive.
we spent like 2 years like after filming it. Did it come out? It's like a while, right? I remember when we were at the first premiere. I was talking to David, who plays Ryan Torres, or the Skull Mask, and I was talking to him and I was like, I just forgot. I remember watching the opening sequence and Maya's like running around like calling for him. And I was like, David, I was like, where are you? Like, where's Ryan? Is he dead? And then like when she pulls the mask off, I was like, oh my God, it's David. And I just like, there were like little things that since like I didn't, I was, some parts I was pleasantly like being surprised as we went along. And then I watched the third one with Fred before the premiere. And there were so many parts of the last movie that I was just like, oh my God. And he was like, you know this. You were there, Julia.
That was the most fun experience ever because we just like, they sent it to us and we just watched it on the TV together, and watching it with Julia was like just, I was like, we filmed all of this, and yet it was like we just wandered into the multiplex, and she was like, oh my gosh, it was really thrilling. It was kind of like, it made me, it was actually the best way ever to watch it, because it was like we forgot that we were in the movie and we were just watching it as audience members.
Right.
That's like such a great testament to the trilogy as a whole, though. I feel like I'm like, what, you were there, you know what I mean? But then to be able to still go back and watch it and be like, oh, and it's like, no, that's your head going through the thing. Like, why is that shocking? But it's like,
I think with the gruesome murder, though, it requires a level of disassociation. Like, you have to sort of be like, oh, look at that happening to that character, because if not, you're admitting that you're watching your own brutal death in real time, and that's too trippy for me to accept.
Yeah, what is that like, watching yourself be like, and it not just like being offed on screen, but like brutally massacred on the screen? Like, what is that like?
I mean, I think, Julie, I think you have the
gnarliest,
the most brutal.
I think Julia's death, I've seen a lot of horror movies. When we were filming, I was like, Julia, as someone who's seen a lot of horror movies, this is gonna be iconic to the genre. I was like, this is up there, man. Like, this is up there.
People are coming up with new ways to describe it, like death now. Like, I keep on seeing like rest in pieces, like the cake, like all people are just going to the races with the cake puns.
Yeah, I think Fred's right. I think there is a little dissociation to watch it, because I don't know, maybe it's not a normal response, but I was watching it, I was just like, this looks so sick. Like, this is awesome. Because I guess I was mostly just curious to see what it would actually look like, because it's so, when we're filming it, like I could understand like what it's supposed to be, but it's like you really don't like understand what the finished product looks like until you like get to watch it for the first time, and it's like a little mind-blowing movie magic. I was like, oh my God, like we made that into that. That's like so cool.
I love that you guys have such an appreciation for it. Like, I love watching you guys like light up and like talking about this, and you still are excited about it and have an appreciation for this stuff.
It was just so fun. And it's actually exactly to Julie's point. It's like because sometimes people ask like, is it scarier to film a horror movie? And to me, it's the least scary, because it actually renders all of these normally terrifying things just kind of fun and absurd. Like you just you just forget. It just is all folly and kind of like these jokes. Like you just, I don't know, it's so it just takes it apart and kind of breaks it down, so you never like you're just not it's not scary anymore.
You're never immersed in it.
So
because you're so immersed in it.
Because then you get to be fully like, you do get scared. I thought I wasn't going to get scared watching it, and then I definitely did.
We got to, which is something I didn't think we'd get to do when Netflix got them, but we got to watch them with an audience because we had the premieres, and like getting to know, like it was a thing where I was like, I know that this bread slicer scene is coming, and no one else besides these few people know, and like getting to hear a reaction to something was so, because it's like a movie that we like made and had such a fun time making, and like we would film things that we're like this is a scary part, or you know what I mean, like when like, you know, like he's axing through the door and y'all are trying, like all the tension and stuff, like we filmed all of that, and then getting to hear like people react to it was the coolest, because it was like we made a movie, and then getting to like watch a movie with a crowd, it's like the best time ever.
I think it's why horror is such a special genre too, because it really embraces the communal experience of like going to the movies. I mean, it's just so, I wish that all movies, I wish like dramas had that, where like people could just like make some sound that they're feeling something all together. But horror really has that. It was really special to be able to, we definitely, like, none of us predicted that we would be able to, out of the pandemic, be able to show it outdoors and have it reach so many people. Now it's just been unbelievably amazing and just truly heartwarming, like to be able to share it in this way. I still kind of can't get over that.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference to be able to watch it with an audience. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to do that, especially for horror, for all the reasons that you said. The first one I watched alone on my couch in that bread slicer scene, I was not expecting that to happen. If anything, I thought it was going to be like a fake out and maybe like you flip around skull mask and like maybe he gets it. But I like out loud screamed, like I was like, ah, and my dogs just like looked at me like it was like that much of a reaction. But 2 and 3 I got to watch at the screenings. So I wish I got to see the first one like that. But like the cheering when someone comes on screen and like I like that was so much fun, and the energy was just like electric, and it was just like, I'm so glad that you guys got to like enjoy them all like that, like as they were intended to be, you know.
I loved when Tommy gets his mask in the second one, like when and then he comes and everyone in the crowd was like, oh, because I was like, yeah, it's his origin story, you know what I mean? Like, this is so cool because you've seen him in the first one and then he gets his mask on. I was like, this is the best.
It's actually the most fun also watching with Lee because she knows every beat of her movie so well that like when the most gruesome stuff is coming up, you just see, like, she just starts giggling a little, like, it's so fun. You just look over and you're like, it's really, like, we would, when she first put together a lot of the most brutal, the finger snaps and the hard axes, just all the truly most brutal stuff, she would sometimes just show us that in clip form, and we just watch it over and over, and I was like, oh my gosh. We really did, like, she pulled off the trick. It just like makes you, it's wild.
You're just falling asleep to that on repeat, just to the head.
That's my
Sarah getting her hand cut off over and over. And
yeah.
over.
That was, I like had to like turn away like multiple times at that because it was like, she doesn't just get her hand chopped off. Like getting your hand axed off, okay, that's bad enough, but it's like ripping and breaking and snapping. And I was just like,
it's gross. That's the one.
It was so violent.
Lee got to show us that.
The gnarliest moment for me.
That was so gross.
The snaps, yes, like cracks and snaps in joints really gets me. And that happens to Benzie in the third one every time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Brutal. So what was the FX process? Because 2 of you get axed on this. So like, what, I mean, do you have to have like fake heads made? Like, what is that like?
I have so many pictures on my laptop and Fred with like half a fake head on. It's my favorite. It's like scrolling through my like photos. It's like all this stuff, and then just like all of these green screen head photos of Fred and Julia.
I FaceTimed Julia. Do you remember this? Julia had left.
Yes, I have that picture. I literally, because I left Atlanta like a day early before Fred, I think, because he had to do his like green screen, like his corpse thing later on. So I have a picture. I took a screenshot of us FaceTiming, and it's like me on the plane. And then you see Fred, and it's just him with like covered in blood with like a gash of like green screen going down the middle of his head. And he looks so happy.
I just knew, I suspected that you didn't know what you were answering. So it was like the most fun thing to see, like in the midst of an airplane, have to open up that call and suddenly see all of that.
I wish I could see like the reaction of the person sitting like next to you on the plane. Like if they just like glanced over like, oh shit.
I have that video of you eating like, I have a video of you covered in blood. It's so gross. And you're eating like supreme nachos. Like it's the grossest meal.
Yeah, we had
eating,
a really
like, covered in,
great catering that day, and there was wonderful nachos.
That
but that is the thing about the like really enjoyable absurdity of it is like there's even if you're covered in blood and you have prosthetics and all that stuff, like we still have to eat throughout the day, we still, like, walk around and like take a phone call or whatever. So it's just so funny because you look around and you see these people who have like, all of them. It was like constantly caked in blood, like so often, and you just get desensitized to it. You get really used to it on set.
as you're dripping blood into your nachos and you're just like, you know what? We're like on week 5. It doesn't even faze me anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even matter anymore.
Olivia, you play a really amazing possessed person. Was that fun for you?
Thank you so much. It was the best time ever. It was very, very fun. There was a level of catharsis to it that I didn't expect. Because I think being like tied up to something and they're like, fight your way out of this and you're acting crazy. I was like, this feels awesome to be like so crazy in this. But yeah, it was fun. And it was fun as an actor to get to like play a person and then get to be like, what would this person be like possessed? You know what I mean? And there's so much possessions, movies and content in horror out there. And like Lee and I really tried to like make it, you know, like homage but different, and it was a great time playing possessed Sam. I loved the possessed Sam scenes. The
possessed Sam is like great also because like she's so unleashed, obviously, you know, but like Sam in the beginning is the opposite of unleashed, so then to just watch her like getting to just be fucking wild with it.
And that was a fun thing too, because Lee and I talked about, she's like, she is so like she's repressing so much about herself that she inadvertently like needs to be possessed to like arc and become her full self at the end of 66, which I was like, how sad and beautiful.
Sad and beautiful is a good way for it.
Yeah, I was like, she has to get so angry that she was possessed by this guy. But she's like, whatever, I've done it all. I've literally been possessed. I'll just go ahead and be myself.
She said, fuck it, we're just gonna do genuine authenticity now.
Yeah, I might as well be authentic now. I've literally seen hell and there's really no going back at this point. So I'm fine. I'm fine to do my thing.
I'm always so moved by that Sam's not feeling herself today. Like,
oh, that's a good line.
Oh, it's so fun, but it also is so like
sad.
It is true to relate. Like, it's sometimes you're in a relationship and a person has to go through some form of possession. You kind of just have to be there for them.
Yeah. That's a great scene. I love her in that scene. They're both so
amazing.
Benji has the best reactions to stuff going on, because he's always like, what is going on? Like, Julia's like, what is happening? He's such an incredible actor. I love Benji.
You know what, Sam being a girl really did shock me, and then I was like disappointed in myself for not even like fathoming that it could be a girl. Like, I know it was supposed to be a reveal, but like nowhere in my brain, not even layered and layered and layered, did I ever for a second think like, oh, like I'm just, and I was like, well, that speaks to my own biases too, I guess. And I'm like, like, wow. So that was pretty cool. I was excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was such a cool part of the script, and something Lee like really wanted to like flip so much of the movie on its head, and she really did it, I feel like, at every turn, you know what I mean? Like, and that was something, that reveal, like, I remember even like when they were cutting the trailers together and stuff, she was like, we're not really going to put any scenes of you and Kiana together to kind of preserve that twist, you know what I mean? Because there will be people that didn't really watch the trailers or like haven't really looked into the movies and are just like kind of cold watching them, and she really wanted to preserve that reveal.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for me for sure.
Yeah. No, it's been cool. I've seen a lot of people be like, I was not expecting Sam to be a girl. And like, that says so much about like movies, you know what I mean? And people think and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it was super cool. It was effective, I guess, in the way that we wanted it to be.
I was comparing it the other day to that riddle about like the kid that gets into an accident and he goes to the hospital and the doctor, and you don't realize the doctor is the mom is the answer to the riddle, but it like takes so many people, like it doesn't cross your mind that could even be a possibility. It's like that kind of a situation.
Yeah. That you're like, oh, the doctor's just a woman.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, what is wrong with my brain that I didn't even like fathom that could be a thing? But it's also like, I'm just so not used to seeing representation in mainstream stuff that I like, my brain didn't even go there.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the point of what she didn't want to be like trap people in, you know what I mean? She wanted to be a thing to where it's like, you know, even if you live in the world and are aware of like, we want more representation and are fighting for representation in the media, that it's still like not to that point yet to where you would watch a movie and assume nothing or assume either like one way or the other. You're just like, your brain is automatically hardwired to assume it's going to be like a heteronormative relationship at the center of this big movie. And that was, it was more of like a society note than it was, you know what I mean? Like she was kind of a thing where she wanted people to like think on that after that happens, which is, I think, cool.
Thought it was very cool. And also like I enjoyed this so much as an adult, but then I think I'm like, fuck, like if I would have had this when I was like 15, like my mind would have just been like blown on so many levels.
Yeah, that's definitely been like the coolest, getting to hear from like, yeah, like the youth, you know what I mean? Like being like I feel so seen by this movie for like so many different reasons. And I feel like the friendship between all of us is so sweet too. You know what I mean? Like there's so many elements to the story and how everything is treated and how each of the characters are so like cared for and looked after, that it's been really cool to like hear people talk about it that are young teens and kids right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the most excited for them getting to have this. Like I'm excited for like my demographic, because I'm like, we're very much also like the target audience for this because we grew up with this stuff and it like also catered to that. But I'm like, I'm so excited for the teenagers watching this. And then I like was totally transported. I felt like a teenager again watching this. And I was like, now that's movie magic. That's when some shit is good.
That's awesome. I felt the way just as an actor with Lee. I felt like she had it was helpful to me growing up, like to have I just felt that she has so much built-in love for all of her characters, and that like made me and I think all of us feel very seen and sort of free in a way that like that was something that like, you know, I wish I had in high school too. I wish I had when I was in middle school, you know, all these times the experience, it was like that from her, you know, from the director. So it's really nice it's beautiful to hear that other people are feeling that and going through that in watching it and being a part of it through that. And it's just really, I think that probably makes everyone very happy. So that's awesome.
It very much exudes that though. So I feel like the fact that you say like she kind of just approached it with like this love at the root. And then I feel like you all very much brought to your characters so much love, because like I loved all of these characters. I'm like, I would be 100% would be friends with all of these kids. Like growing up, I would have like, I adored all of you. I was fucking devastated when you got killed off because I wasn't expecting that. It was very much like Kill Your Darlings. And I was like, expecting it to be a little lighter, you know.
You made it far enough into the movie that I feel like we've made it through so much that you think like
we let the audience get all comfortable. They're like, oh, they'll make it.
They'll make it. They're all coming out on stage. The whole group of band together.
I was absolutely lulled into a false sense of security. I was like, okay, like it's gonna be like more like a gateway horror kind of thing. I'm still enjoying it, having fun, and then bam, 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 and I'm like, what is happening? Everybody is just dying, and I'm not okay with this.
It's so sad. It's horrible.
Yes, but then I was really stoked for part 3, and I was like, oh, we get them back. Like we get like an incarnation of them in a sense, you know. So I was happy to see like all of your wonderful faces again come back for that.
Thank you.
So what was that like actually getting to play in the 90s and then also 1666?
Oh, it was so fun. So fun. I feel like all of us too, like, because we did the 90s first and then we did 66 second. And so all of us were kind of like excited. We had all been like talking about our new characters. And then on the first day of set, we're like, now we get to see like what everybody's new characters are. They're kind of like the ones that we've been playing, but different. It was like a big show and tell almost. Because we were all such like friends and kind of like, you know what I mean? We were just like this gang of kids that was like roaming around making a movie. And then it was like this fun acting challenge for all this like weird little group of actor kids to be like, what's your new character? And we're covered in dirt. And like, you know, the 66 was so fun. It was so fun.
I grew very attached to the like dirt grease that they put in my hair. And I like asked after, I was like, what's the brand of that? I would like, I'm just very accustomed to it. And I wanted to keep it in my life, basically.
You're like, I don't use pomade anymore. I just use circa 66 dirt.
And the dirt, I was like, the dirt with the hair, I enjoy it.
They're like, yeah, it's dirt.
Yeah.
It's
They're
dirt.
like, just go to a field and scoop some stuff and you'll be fine.
Yeah, lots of dirt, lots of sweat, both real sweat and fake sweat. Because it was like what, July in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was in July in Atlanta.
Corseted
in.
Corsets, like double layers of the long skirts.
I've never been more hydrated in my life. Downing water every moment of the day.
Yeah, your outfits were definitely not conducive.
By the way.
You did what?
Farm animals were just on.
Yeah.
Like if you had a break, if you had like an hour off, you could just like sit with the goat.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was
Like
incredible.
that's what I want to do on my lunch breaks is like hang out with the goat, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
Pictures of Julia and Fred and Benji meeting the dog.
Oh,
the
great.
dog.
First time. They're because all of y'all are petting this dog, being like, "Wow, a dog!" Like all of y'all are mystified by this dog.
But it was
They're the
but it
cutest
was a
pictures
truly
ever.
amazing dog. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
Little dog.
legitimately just wow.
Yeah.
Is that what's his name? Mary Boy? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
It was the background actor dog, the one that looked like Lassie.
Yeah.
Oh, the background act, the other one.
The Mary Boy dog was so
Mary Boy's
cute. I
amazing,
loved
too.
that dog.
You should have
Yeah,
gotten.
you fucked me up with that. When a Mary Boy gets pulled out of the well, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was one of the moments I forgot about.
Yeah, Julia was like, no. You were just like, no.
It's not
no.
the dog. It can't be the dog.
We're a dog killing movie. That's how brutal we are.
This was brutal as shit. Like you killed off my best friends in part 1. You killed children in part 2, and you
Yeah.
killed off the dog in part 3.
Those kids in part 2, they're the cutest kids in the entire world.
Mm.
And then they just say like something real cute, and then 10 seconds later they get axed. And I'm like, Lee, why did you do this?
It's amazing though, because I'm like, okay. I was like, the kids are probably gonna be okay. They're not gonna go for the kids, you know? And then I was like, waiting, and it's getting more and more tense. And I'm like, they're not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. And then just blood splatter. And I'm like, they fucking did it.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Terrible, but like in the most amazing way. Like shit, that was fun.
It's the craziest.
What was funny about 94 to 66 too, which was really cool, was like we did, it was like primarily night shoots for 94, which is just this incredible way for all of us to bond, because you're getting loopy and you're like, it's like 3 a.m. Yeah, and you're like, it feels kind of special, like, because like, everyone else is asleep, so you're like, we're like, we're coming out of the fold and doing our weird make 'em up spot. The normal, while the yuppies sleep, and and it's like, and it was like a real bonding sort of thing. And then a lot of there were some night shoots for 66, but a lot of it was like in the just cold, the hot sun in the middle of the day, and it was fun. And then we also got a lot of the wonderful cast from the second film, 78, came in. So it was like we met them right before they were about to go on their journey. And so it was just cool. It was really this cool.
The baton moment.
Yeah, it was really special to kind of like.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the shooting order was 1, 3, and then 2.
Yeah.
Because
that's pretty cool because it still converges.
Yeah, they had like the 90s. We did the 90s cast, and then like we were there for 60, and then they brought in the 70s cast, and then they just stayed after we left. It was like a cool scheduling thing, but it was so fun to get to meet them before they went into
66 was like the Venn diagram. It was like the little
the middle section.
Yes. I love that you guys had that overlap though before that. It very much is like a passing of the baton. That's really cool.
Yeah, super cool. And then like McCabe and Emily's first day, I think, did they come in first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just both like the loveliest people, and they immediately were like so dedicated to the movies. And it was like really cool. Like they just like set the tone so well for the 70s. You know what I mean? Like they were so ready to be there for 66, even though it was like this cast of people that they had never met. You know what I mean? Like they came in and they're like, we are making this movie and we are acting in this movie and we are taking it very seriously. And
McCabe was
so fun to hang out with them.
McCabe was on keto he had like a strict regimen so that his body was exactly correct for both characters.
Yeah,
and I remember being like,
I forgot about that.
Man, I was like, I didn't even think about the concept of that role. I was like, this guy really he's prepared. I was eating nachos with all my makeup, and this guy has like a hard keto regimen. I was like, this is the real deal.
Yeah. I was so surprised because he was like, I want to physically change my body, and he had like 3 weeks to do it or something, but he did. Like he completely did like this crazy, like diet and workout plan. So he looked different in 78 than he did in.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's intense.
But
I mean, nachos is also a regiment of its own. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Julia and I would say our first night, which was the second day of filming for us. We had one day. The first scene that we filmed was
Cheese Whiz Day.
Yeah, Cheese Whiz. We're all on the place. And then the second scene that I filmed, I think the second scene Julia filmed, was us with the twins. And I remember it was like 3 a.m. We were loopy. and there was some clam chowder, and that was like amazing. I have this photo to this day that's like one of the dearest photos in my phone, which is Julia like picking up the clam chowder with just so much joy, like that we were like, whatever. I don't know I don't even know what mental place you're in, but there's something about the night shoot and the clam chowder and all combined to this moment that I'm now very grateful to have this picture of.
It was like 3 a.m. snacks. It was just the highlight of every night.
Yeah.
Like, the snacks here. Like, oh my God.
We always on Fridays, sometimes we'd get our midnights, or like middle of the night snack would be pizza. But once a month, but every week we were like, maybe we can trick people into, if we spread the rumor that we're getting pizza on Friday, we can make it happen. Like someone will be like, oh, I guess we have to get pizza.
Yeah, looking back, it was rather misguided because the thought was like, my thought process was like, if we say that it's pizza, it will become pizza, but that's not how it works. So it just left general disappointment, I think, amongst
They just stopped believing us. They stopped believing us after a while. They'd be like, okay, sure, it's pizza, sure.
You'd be like, yeah, I heard they were having pizza on Friday. Did you guys hear about the pizza?
And then you were just the cast who cried pizza, and no one believed anything that you guys said after that point.
We only ever got pizza once a month, but boy, oh boy, did we try every week without fail to get pizza again.
But I will say, full circle, was there pizza at the premiere the other night? Yes, there was.
See, it all worked out. And you're on a witchy movie. I feel like you guys manifested it. You said it enough, and there it was. Bam, ready and waiting for you.
Better than any set piece that
really
we could
good.
hope for. Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
I also had some of that pizza. I did partake, and it was so good.
Best pizza I've ever had in my life.
This might be annoying for viewers. We're just talking about a good meal that we all had. No one else is privy to.
I mean, it was cool. It was whatever. It was fine.
Yeah,
it was
fine.
really good. Julia, there's one little there's so many little like synchronicities that are just buried in here, and I've watched them multiple times because I feel like once you watch them all the way through, you go back and like your appreciation for things is just like ramps up because there's just like so many things that are embedded and layered, and like you guys were saying, like every scene has at least like 4 different meanings, and I feel like I still need to go back and rewatch and I'll discover new things. But the fact that in the 90s your character was peddling the pills at school, and then we go to 66, and who knows about the psychedelic berries? Who knows what to bring to the moon party? Yeah, exactly. Like that was just such a funny little element to me. I don't know. I was like very like struck and entertained by that.
Yeah, it's really fun to see like the little connections and similarities between the different characters we played. So it's like, it's not like they're the same. It's just like, it's not like it's like, oh, an old timey version of like Kate and Simon, but it's like they kind of have like a very similar like spirit within them, which is like nice, and it was like, it was, I really liked it. She's like, 1666 was also like, I think most of it was more fun in a way because, or like for the character, because say the percentage of 94 where Kate's being like hunted down by killers versus when she's having fun with her friends. She's not having much fun with her friends. Whereas I think in 66, we got to like have a little more fun before I guess I get to live through that movie, which is nice. Yeah, it was, we were like doing like all the bonfire stuff and I was like, oh my God, we're all just like vibing.
That party looked really fun. I was like, I think I know the theme for my next birthday party.
Yeah.
Fear Street 1666.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no time for parties in 94.
No, there was no time for parties in 94.
No time for parties.
No time.
It was strictly business in 94.
Strictly business, strictly. Someone the other day said this movie felt like a heist movie.
Oh, that's
and I was like, what an interesting take. It is kind of a heist movie. We're really solving a puzzle the whole time,
Yeah, the pacing of it, that makes sense because you're just like go, 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 go. Once it hits on that gas and you're just like, whoa, shit,
Yeah, literally.
It was so fun when we did that, when we would do the ambulance. It would really, we'd really race sometimes.
We really rode an ambulance.
And so we had a bunch of times where it was so fun. We would like race into that thing, close it, and just go speeding. And I was like, in life, you're generally not allowed to do that. You have to be very careful when you do that.
Yeah.
And it was cool to be like, well, we're
so
making a
fun.
movie, so you're allowed to get away with that.
We'd always get an ambulance and be like, punch it!
Yeah.
We'd be like,
That sounds like a definite perk. That's fun. I'm putting that on my bucket list.
speed away in an ambulance.
Yeah, if you guys see me on the news and I'm arrested, you know why. It was born of this conversation.
Ambulance.
I'll defend you.
That you're like, no, we said you got to wait to do it on a movie set. And I'm like, well, I didn't have a set to do it on, guys. And I'm running out of time here. Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you guys. If you're ready for this. All right, ready.
Yeah.
Favorite needle drop?
Oh my gosh.
Movie 2 for me, Sweet Jane.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
another parallel.
Yeah, I feel honored because
Yes.
I get Sweet Jane as well, but when it's with Sadie and Ted, I guess it's less of a needle drop because there's a lot, but there's something, I just think it's so beautiful the way that, because they played the song throughout the beginning and the end of the scene in this way, like really committing to that song and I don't know, it just makes my heart flutter. I love that song. And
I love that.
That's a great one.
That's okay.
I love I think I've said this before, but I love in the mess hall when there's like the reprise of Carry On My Wayward Son, and it does like the circle around Sadie and then the circle around McCabe, and then like I love any scene like the Reservoir Dogs scene, like songs set to like popular songs that are set to like crazy violence and stuff. I love moments like that in movies. It's one of my favorite parts of like cinema. I'm like, yeah, pop culture music set to like an insane scene. So I love the second Carry On My Wayward Son in '78.
It is a really fun juxtaposition, right? When you've got something like upbeat that you don't normally correlate with something horrible, and then you have this awful imagery like assaulting you, and you're like, your brain kind of is like, wait, hold on, like trying to like combine the two things.
Like the Good Vibration scene in Us when they're getting attacked, like Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker. Like that's a great, you know what I mean? Like, kill me.
I like when they finally get to listen to the Pixies.
Yay!
That whenever that comes on, it makes me so happy.
Yeah,
that was such a sweet moment.
That's the best.
Yeah. My heart was a flutter too.
There must be a devil between us, Lee. I remember being like, because there is, because you're literally about to get possessed. So this is like very quick but fun foreshadowing.
Same for First Cut is the Deepest with McCabe.
Yo, that was great.
Right when he gets that axe, First Cut is the Deepest. It's like when it works that perfectly, you can't question it.
You can't question it.
In that moment, I was like horrified, but also like giggling because I was like, "Oh, this is so fun!" Like, all right. Favorite line doesn't have to be yours. It can be yours, or it can be just from anywhere in the trilogy. There's so many.
Friends.
So many.
My brother and my favorite. We've watched the movie like 3 times together. But we both, every time Fred says, "Suck it, pig." that's our favorite.
Suck it, pig.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Like, which nerd? Like you're coming up with it as you say it. It's so
I say just anything Fred says, essentially.
I love though, "Try Not to Die." I think the way that the like words are, like "try not to die," like it's just a geniusly written like line. And the way that Benji delivers it, and then he pumps the water gun, like "Try Not to Die" is a great, and it's very like it's kind of funny, but like really dark, and I feel like it fits the movie so well.
Nice.
The other night watching Kiana's speech, again, like just the share when they're all in the mall and the way that she, I don't know, it's just like that yearning and that fight, to me, that whole thing just gets me. And it's like, it's a little what you're saying about playing the different characters through time, but it's like, even though people are unique and different, for Shady Side, there is this shared struggle of being pushed down in the same way and uniting together to fight that I just I think it kind of it's all there, but it crystallizes in that moment. And then when Julia talks about the berries in 1666, it just makes me laugh so hard, and it's so great.
I love that. Yeah, that like that little pep talk she gives, it's like very much like "for the misfits," and I was like, yes.
Very Goonies, never say die.
Exactly, 100%. Yes. All right, who's your favorite killer?
obviously like my character definitely has a certain connection with me.
A connection.
Stepping away from that for a moment, the one that actually like just as a watch, like with the baby with the
the bludgeoning baby.
I can't even say the name. I can't even say his name. It's just so. It's like that's one of those ones. Like I know it's coming, and every time I see that image, I'm like, it just totally surprises me every time. So yeah, I would love to watch a lot more about Billy.
I just don't say it another time because then you're going to summon him, and I just fear for you.
Yeah, the scariest shot for me, like watching the movies, was when Billy Barker appears in the field in '78. When Emily and Sadie are like digging, and it's like, and then it pans and you see him coming. I was like, no, this is the scariest thing.
There's nowhere to run. Oh man, I really go back and forth on mine. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know. I think out of the main ones I do love Skull Mask. Because I think the idea of stabbing someone a bunch with a tiny knife that's very sharp is like a deep, deep fear of mine. And then out of the second tier ones, I love the Milkman. I think he's really upsetting too. But also he's got an ice pick. I think I just don't like tiny stabby things.
Tiny sharp objects. No, off the table.
Off the table.
That's legitimate though. I'm like, just come at me with an axe or something. Like let's get this over with. You know what I mean? Just get it done. Yeah.
It's so much quicker.
Yes. I don't need to die by 5,000 tiny pricks. Like, let's just do me a solid.
When the Milkman is stabbing Ziggy/Sadie over and over again, I'm like, this is so much. This is insane.
That scene was very brutal. And I guess, I mean, I'm a big sister, so I think it had that layer of it for me too, where I'm just like, there are a few more horrific things that I could imagine than not being able to protect one of like my little siblings who are adults, but they're like my baby brother, my baby sister, you know what I mean? So it's like that innate thing of not being able to protect them and then having to watch that, like that whole scene was horrific when you're like, there's no way out because everyone is surrounding and then just like stabbing. And I was like, that was brutal.
Do your siblings love horror too? Or are you the horror? Like,
I'm the horror girl of the family, but they will watch. They watch Fear Street and they like it.
That's good.
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old nephew that wants to watch, and I was like, I don't know, like that's gonna have to be up to your mom. I'm like, usually I can watch and I can give a clear-cut answer, but I was like, this one mom's gonna have to watch and decide, and then if she does, it's gonna probably be like a supervised watch, but like I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I say let him watch. I watched everything. I watched the most terrible things. I don't know.
I watched a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna show this to my sister. All right, Noah, I guess you're gonna watch the Fear Street trilogy, buddy. All right, and the last question for you guys. This is an unfair question. Oh, go ahead. You can say something, Fred?
Julia, did you say yours?
What was the question again?
Your favorite killer?
Oh yeah, mine was also Billy Barker, so
Yeah.
I kind of jumped on that one.
Yeah.
I just, and it's also that shot that they always flash back to of him bashing in that head.
Mhm.
That's like the gnarliest like footage. I just like the sound of it too, of the metallic bat. It's like, yeah, no, yeah.
Against bone.
Also, the fact that he's so tiny, I think really like is like it's like a ooh, like my brain doesn't like that. Like my eyes take that in. It's like no. And then again with the slow bludgeoning, like you would just feel how many hits of that would you feel before you like went unconscious, you know? Like it's just like ooh.
I don't know.
I'd be hyper aware of way too much of that. Like just hit me with the axe.
Hit with the axe.
Yeah. Tommy is very efficient.
He's
watching, and he was like, yeah, his kill ratio is like he is astounding. He's really like, I'm gonna get as many dead bodies as I can get.
Does it in 78? He never stops, you know.
Yeah. Oh, McCabe can just whenever he wants, he can just look at me and tell me that his character killed my character. We should be having dinner and he just sits across. He just give me that smile and he's right. He's right.
As a chill just goes through your very soul.
Yeah.
Like
So so scary.
Love that. This is the part where you pull up the stats like ESPN and it's like their kill counts and like the efficiency and their ratios.
Tommy is definitely an MVP.
McCabe and Ultimate McCabe is this nicest person in real life, but he will click into that like Kubrick stare that he does so easy, and it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. He'll do it to freak us out.
That was upsetting too, because he very much exudes sweet Tommy vibes, and then you see him switch and I'm like, ooh, no, don't like that at all.
Don't like that at all.
Hard pass, sweet Tommy. No, thank you. All right. One more unfair question for you guys. The answers for this are all over the place. So I'm just curious if there's a consensus here. Which part is your favorite installment?
That's the toughest question.
All of you said this interview is over. You hit this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
You're going through a tunnel, I think.
I gotta get in an elevator really quick. I'm gonna lose you.
It's hard because again, like to your first question, I do see them as they're completely connected and they are one large story but it really changes. It's different. I don't know how you feel, but like I felt like filming 94 was just one of the best experiences of my life. So it's like, I will always, but again, it's a different thing. It's like, I just feel so, you're just flooded with like these memories of like every little moment and the scenes and stuff. So that will always be very dear to me. But then I love them all. Like, I just love watching them. I don't know. I'm clearly not giving you a good answer. I'm not be able to. So I'm gonna shut up.
That's all right. I feel like filming 94 from the before the movies came outside, 94 is my favorite, but I really love 66 because there's so much that's in 94 and 78 and 66. Like, it ties up loose ends you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's so sad. One of my favorite moments ever is when I was talking to my mom about this, when they're carving The Witch Lives Forever into the rock. And in 78, it's like so anxiety inducing because you're like, what is going on? And they're like, why is she doing this? Like, what does she want from us? Because it's like her body's not there. And it's this rock that's like, the witch lives forever. And then in 66, you're like crying because her friends just wanted to give her like you know what I mean? They just loved her and they wanted to like say like F you to everybody and like give her you know what I mean? And it like, there's so much that flips on its head. It's Insidious too. Insidious 2, you're like, I didn't even know I had these questions, but it's answering. I feel about 66.
100% that vibe.
I feel like maybe not. Okay, well, it kind of depends on like how self-deprecating I am on the day. Like, do I want to deal with having to like watch myself and like see me? Or am I gonna watch 78, which is probably like 94 and 78. I love all of them, but there's also something fun about watching 78 and like not personally being in it at all, because I really get to experience it like fully as like an audience member and just go along for the ride. Cause like I also wasn't there for filming. So like all of it as it's happening was like brand new watching it. And so that was also like a really cool experience and way more relaxing on the first go as opposed to watching 94. I was like, what the hell? That's my face. No. But 94, I mean, that just has like such a special place in my heart. And it's like, I just think it's so unique in the way that like, it's so about the characters. Like, no one's there. It's like a horror movie where no character is there to die. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not like just devices that are there to get like mangled and killed. It's like you kind of gets like the heart of it. And then that heart is what also keeps it going through the next two. Mm-hmm. And like when it all comes together in 94. Mm-hmm. So now I'm also going to 66. Because like my favorite part is like when it cuts after the hanging and then it like cuts back to Kiana and then it has the big title card for 1994 part 2. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, my reaction was like, oh, like
it's the best.
So fun.
I think we all really gave clear one movie, and we all, I think
this is clear-cut consensus. There's a clear front runner here. We have a winner.
We have a winner. We all picked one movie.
Yeah,
that we loved specifically more.
We definitely, that was the epitome of a flash question or whatever.
Yeah.
You have one of my favorite lines too, Julia. Going back to that question, when you say so super sad, it makes me laugh every single time. The delivery is iconic. It's perfect. It's so fantastic.
There are so many great lines in this, and the delivery is what makes it, obviously. Like, I mean, you read it written on paper and you're like, okay, like maybe like a chuckle, but there are parts where I was like laughing way longer than I was probably supposed to. Like, some of this stuff I'm sure was intended as kind of like a throwaway joke, and then I'm just dying laughing at just like this delivery, and like the timing and the pacing is just so on point. And then I miss like a plot point like that comes after, and like it's a good thing I was able to go back and rewatch them, because I'm like, I'm missing shit now because I was like laughing at this great line that I really appreciated.
In 1666, as soon as we get to see more of Daryl, who plays Martin, just any single time Martin says anything, I'm like, oh my God.
When he holds his breath when the milkman's walking by it, he's like, okay.
It's absolutely perfect.
It's so funny.
That moment where he's like, yeah, like they drive up, it is. Oh,
let me get my coat.
Every time I'm just, let me get my coat. That's one of my favorite lines ever.
When they show Daryl Olivia possessed in the corner, it's just like, I was like, yeah,
white girl. Which is something I've seen myself labeled as now. Half possessed out of white girl. I'm like, nice.
I love that your reaction to that is nice. Like, I love that so much.
Funny, like his delivery of it is so funny. I'm glad people have like attached themselves to that line. I think it's very funny.
Yeah, he was great. Like, pretty much everything that he did was just really funny.
It's incredible.
Nailed it.
Fantastic.
All right, well, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much. I could keep you for like another 3 days for this, because like I said, like I'm like totally like a fangirl for this, and I could ask you a million more things, but we will end it here.
I know, I'm like, we're fangirls.
I'm a fangirl too. This is so fun to chat about it. And you're so wonderful, and it really is very special it really has. I feel so happy that by talking to people about it, because we have so much love for it, and and the characters in the story, and it's like, you don't always know if the love will reach others, and it's really really wonderful to talk to you, and it's just been really fun. Thank you.
It has permeated 100%, and like I said, like my Twitter feed is a good indication of how much people are loving this, but it's because y'all put so much heart into it, and that like exudes off the screen, and that spirit like comes, and I'm like, yes, this was made with a shit ton of love, and it's so fun and so on point.
Thank you.
Stay
do you guys want to tell us where we can find you? Social handles, if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm just on Instagram, and it's Welch 4 Welches.
Okay.
I was like, I was down in my head.
That's
Welch.
Okay.
Welch 4 times is my Instagram handle.
Gotcha.
I never had an Instagram, but I made one right before these came out, because I just wanted to talk about, I don't know. I thought and it's been kind of fun, and it's like, I feel like
when he got it.
You what?
I didn't believe that it was real.
Yeah, I got followed by it, and then I just kept seeing comments that were like, Julia, and it was like, is this really you? I need you to text me and tell me if this is actually you, Fred.
Because it wasn't verified yet, and he didn't tell me he was making a new one. I was like, hey, Fred, what's going on?
I was just like, spur of the moment. I gotta talk about Fear Street. I don't know. So yeah, it's my name. It's just it's my Fred.Hechinger.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then mine is Julie B_Maria.
Julie B_Maria on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yes. Also just on Instagram.
Okay. This is the Instagram club. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Thank you guys again so much. If you're not subscribed to Fangoria, get on it, fangoria.com. If you haven't watched Fear Street, then I'm sorry for all these spoilers, but go check it out or rewatch it, because it gets better every time. Right now streaming on Netflix. Check it out. All right. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.